Good afternoon and welcome to another college football playoff edition of the Parrots Pick here in the Linda studio. Parrot, well, let's just get to it. How'd we do, Parrot?
Well, my toes are cold, but my picks are hot. So.
That's not the only thing, big guy.
Making people talking behind my back. Hey, Travis, you remember what my nickname was years ago?
Parrot.
No, well, that's one of them. But that one friend of ours, we called him Big Andy.
Yep.
So big, and his name's Andy.
Yeah.
And that other guy, we called him Lefty.
Oh.
Because he's left-handed. But my other nickname, I never liked it.
Buddy, you got to refresh my memory, brother.
Oh, my God.
Well, everybody called me
how to
Donkey Dick Moneybags. But you know what, Trav? You know me. Travis.
Yeah, what's up, brother? Hey. Yeah.
I am not a wealthy man.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I love you,
We're
Parrot.
getting
That's
started
how we
off
love
on the
this.
right
Yeah.
foot here, everybody.
It did.
Man.
Or
We're
the
gonna
th-
get
or the
into-
third foot, whatever you want to talk about.
We're
All right,
going to
moving
get
along
into two
here.
things.
Oh, I love it.
I have to stand up here and admit defeat, and so do you, Gibby.
I
So
do.
first of all, I'm going to honestly say, hey, I picked one team wrong 2 times, and that's Notre Dame. Now, I still don't like them. I'm going to throw it out there. I don't like them in Game 3, but I will say that, hey, one thing I'm kind of proud of, I mean, not proud of because I'm never proud of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, but, Coach Freeman, he's doing,
done.
I mean, you think about how he got the job in that first, I think it was against Stanford. I just remember the game he failed at, right?
Well, last year he struggled.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he's really doing a heck of a good job so far through the playoffs. But I also do want to openly say, hey, I did pick against them. They won. The one thing that's weird about the Georgia game, right, at the end of the day is, like, stat-wise, it's one of those games where they won. I will give them that. They won. But let's remember, they scored 17 points in basically a minute. And they got lucky there. But that is football at times, right? You got to be able to, hey, when you get an opportunity, a turnover, you go score touchdowns, not field goals. And if you can score a touchdown on special teams, that's huge. And that was the difference in the game, right? I mean, those 17 points in that minute, end of the first half, and then the kickoff return was the difference in the game. But it was weird because I didn't watch that game because I'm not going to watch Notre Dame. But, the quarterback for Georgia did really well, right? I mean, he did. He threw over 250 yards. Now, the sack that he got, hit on and lost a fumble, that was a key part. But otherwise, he did well. But, hey, I'll say it. I'll give Notre Dame credit. But now remember, you did say you were wearing purple underwear. You were on the purple train.
Yes.
And
I went on
they
it.
got smoked.
Hey.
They got smoked.
We're on college football right now.
I'm just saying.
We'll address that next,
Okay.
right? We'll address that next. But, so, Parrot, what do you think about those games? Let's start with one, right? Let's start at the top left. Okay, you want to move out and get your big head out of there. All right. So you got Ohio State, Oregon. Who predicted that one?
Well, we had that one hammered this week or last week. Jeremiah Smith, obviously the whole world knows about him now. And we were on him a little bit early, and he just showed who he is. That kid is an absolute horse. He's like a Megatron or a Julio Jones, but younger and faster, and his ceiling's huge. That guy's got a bright future, and that was a pretty impressive performance.
I got to say this, Garrett. This is first on Parrots Picks. I can't wait for this thing to blow up because first time I've ever really paid attention to Jeremiah Smith is when you brought that up. Right, because I love college football, and I was watching this. I'm like, yeah, he's good. And when you said that, I'm like, he is good. And then I always went back and said, well, they lost to Michigan. Where was he during that contest? This and that. But man, that game it's almost like when the lights get bright, he gets brighter because that dude dogged out.
If you were draft eligible right now, you have a tough time convincing him he's not the number one pick.
I agree.
He's got to stay in college 2 more years. I mean, he's only going to continue to climb. Hopefully, he avoids injury. But I mean, he's NFL ready right now.
There's no doubt about it. He is a stud.
That game was ridiculous. Like, you turn it on, touchdown. I mean, the way they played was just phenomenal.
Come back in, buddy.
And no, I like standing out
Actually,
here staring
you know
at you,
what?
but
Yeah,
but I think it was just amazing. I think you called it
Back
out.
to you, sexy beast.
But it was just, Jeremiah Smith was a stud in that game, obviously. But at the end of the day, everybody just played well. Howard played well. The running game was clicking. The defense was rolling. It was just it was an ass kicking. I don't know how else to say it.
No, it was. It was like anything that could have went well for Ohio State went well.
Yeah, and we had talked about that. The first game between Oregon and Ohio State was close. So the way that it's going, you'd expect a good game. But I think we all kind of said Ohio State, but we did not call it a butt kicking.
Well, and the thing about it is, I think Garrett, you may have commented on this. Like the loss to Michigan, nobody likes to lose, but it may have been the best thing for Ohio State. Right, because when we were talking about the game, I think that woke Ohio State up, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's no
same thing
question.
for Northern Illinois and Notre Dame. The best thing that happened to Notre Dame was get beat by Northern Illinois. You look at the history of the team this year. Ever since that loss, Notre Dame has kicked it into gear, and they've been lights out defensively. I saw an interview with Urban Meyer this week, and Urban Meyer, he obviously has a history at Notre Dame, and he knows that part of the world, how tough it is to recruit to those colder climates up there. And his comment was he couldn't believe the degree of athlete they have at Notre Dame now, and how NIL, you got academics there at Notre Dame too. You just can't let anybody in there. And we talked about the coach at Notre Dame, how well the job he did. I think it woke him up too when they got beat by Northern Illinois. And we'll talk about it later. But the performance with Notre Dame winning last week, I think they play that game 10 times. They win every time.
Yeah. No. So let's get to it. So let's get on to the next one, the painful one for us. Yes, Texas was our team. Unfortunately, Texas did not cover. Man, the way that game started out, who didn't think man, this is going to be a road show. This is going to be Texas by 70. And honest God truth, unfortunately, we lost, right, being a Texas owner. But what a fun football game to watch.
Oh, yeah.
That was incredible.
I mean, right there, we'll just get to it, right? The vital system stats
Yes.
Of
Let's
the week.
get to it.
Scattable. He was a stud. I mean, when he turned it on, it was phenomenal, the play. Because the first half, I was like, he's good, but, give Texas credit. They were playing really good defense paired on him. But I tell you, the second half, I know he was getting – did they ever say what was happening there? Would he just have a stomach flu or something? Because he was puking.
Must have had a bad fajita before the game. I don't know.
or during halftime.
Honestly, I just think, again, the vital system stat was that he was an absolute dog. I think he was throwing up because he was so,
tired?
I think his just his adrenaline, his rush, and going out there and just, because you look at that guy, that guy right there that Moose has got on the screen right over the top of the vital systems there, that guy would run through a wall of not sheetrock, but it'd be more like anything you put in front of him, that guy's going to run through it.
Well, is that like a guy with the tougher than a $2 steak?
Right.
Tougher than woodpecker lips?
Yeah,
he's
got
all
it all.
right?
He's got woodpecker lips. He's a $2 steak. He's everything all wrapped in one. What do you think, Garrett, about this dog?
Well, he showed he can throw the ball. It wasn't the prettiest pass ever, but it helped the game. Got a touchdown. The best was that fly pattern he ran.
Absolutely.
He set up the DB, bumped him, and then made the catch and had a 40, 50-yard catch. The guy's an absolute horse. The thing that confuses me, I personally think he's an NFL player. Is he a high first-round pick? Probably not. But I would think he's at least be a late first round, maybe second rounder. I'm seeing some people say he might be a fourth or fifth rounder at best. And I'm thinking, what does the guy have to do to prove that he's a ball player? I think he would help any NFL team.
Yeah, and I agree. That's the thing, right? One pass for 42 yards and a TD, 30 carries, 143 yards, 2 TDs, an extra point was in there, 2-point conversion, 8 catches for 99 yards. So
those
just
vital
amazing.
system stats are unbelievable.
Yeah, but the one thing that I'm still, at the end of the day, we knew when the game was tied, we had no chance of winning for our little playoff thing here, right? But what I cannot understand, how in the hell was not targeting at the end of the game?
Oh, I agree. Let's talk about that for a sec.
What I don't understand, and you could hear Coach Dillingham ask, was he defenseless? Was he hitting the head? You could could see it. Those are two things that they sit and talk about. Now, the one thing he didn't do is necessarily lead with the crown, but he hit him right in the helmet. And I've seen lesser calls, and this is what pisses me off, because at the end of the day, if this is what you're putting it in for, I don't care the score of the game. I don't care the time of it. Are you protecting the players or you're not? And right there, they clearly said, no, it's not, or it's too close. I've seen lesser lesser calls.
Right.
And it's like, it has no impact on the game, but they'll call it. That was a huge, huge play. And I get it would have impacted the game. But to Arizona State's defense, who knows if that would have helped them with their field goal, because they were bad on that. But that was bad. Bad.
Well,
I had to get that
why
off
even
my-
have the rule? Why even have the rule in the why even have it if you're not going to enforce it? I mean, they're definitely protecting the player. This is negative, but the thing they were protecting were ratings. I'm convinced of that. I mean,
I was going to ask you that,
Hey,
Garrett. Like, do you think, and some people listen to this are probably like, well, duh, Dippy. I get, so do you think that there is an intuition that they understand that if Texas goes on to play Ohio State, the ratings on that showing is millions versus Arizona State versus Ohio State?
Yeah, even if it's not verbalized, it's still in the back of their mind, and it influences them clearly because that was a penalty. Gene's territory, all the experts that you hear talk about after the game, they all said that should have been a targeting call that should have been made.
But that's what I don't get. How do you miss it? Why have those rule experts? Why? I mean,
Before we go, okay.
Let's not digress anymore.
So that's okay. So, but before we do move on, because Garrett, you and I were chatting a bit when we were taking on Clemson, and we were trying to piss that away as best we could. And you said, Gibby, this is Stark. Like, I'm not a Stark fan. Like, he's not a great coach. Like, looking at that game, that just resonated with me. Like, how can this guy not put teams away? Like, how can he? What were they? It was crazy to me to think that how their record and how well they did during the regular season, and then you come down to crunch time, and those were the offensive play calls that they had to do. And like I thought Ewers looked terrible.
Where's Archie Manning? All of a sudden, no Archie Manning.
Why do you not go to Manning? Ewers looked terrible until I'm telling you what right now. If that fourth down call that was a good pass, I'll give him that in the back of the end zone to tie
Horrible
that football game.
defense.
Yeah, or horrible defense, whatever you want to say. But if that doesn't happen, now it's if Boston Berries were nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, and I get that. But what I'm saying is that falls incomplete, and you're like, is Ewers even that good of a? Why in the hell is Manning not playing in this game?
Wow.
It's the big stage, the big players. Hopefully they show who they are. The folks at Arizona State showed they had a lot of heart. They battled back. In my opinion, they should have been in a position to win the game. I'm never a big Sark fan. I think he's a good OC, but head coach, he's always going to let you down, in my opinion. But, I saw where the Arizona State quarterback, he was a freshman this year. He just recommitted to Arizona State, so he's back. They probably threw an extra $1 million at him or two. But that guy, he had the snake in him. He was just as showed a lot of stones as well.
He was
a pretty impressive guy for a redshirt freshman, but still, I think he's got a bright future as well.
And he doesn't have he had no problem chewing his receiver's ass if they ran the wrong route.
Absolutely.
You love that guy. He's got a little bit of Tom Brady in regards to that. Maybe not talent wise, but I'm telling you, with that dog, he's in it to win it. There's no doubt. And
That's what you hope to get out of this. That's what you hope to get out of this playoff is get exposure to some different people on a big stage, get some other programs on the up and come, and hopefully Arizona State can maintain that coach. And it's always nice to have a team out west that's good.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
All right, well, let's
All
just
right,
get
let's go to the
going.
next
That you
one.
can see. Let's go Ohio State, Texas. Who do you got?
Well, I'm on the Jeremiah Smith bandwagon. I think they're going to win that one big, and they're playing well. There's a chance that they could kind of choke, but I strongly doubt it. They just got so much talent. Give me Ohio State and give them by well more than 6 points.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. So you're betting on the spread there. Ohio State right now favored by 6 over Texas. So all right, there we go.
I got Ohio State too. Like, whatever happened since Michigan, Ryan Day's figured something out, and that team is playing at the level that I think people thought they were playing. And it might be tough to say, Parrott, but maybe they're even playing higher right now because it's crazy.
All right, let's switch over to the Notre Dame game. All right, we got Notre Dame, Georgia. Let's have a little recap on that. I know Scribb kind of gave his 2 cents about Notre Dame. Garrett, what'd you think?
Well, the quarterback had a pretty crummy performance from a statistical standpoint. I don't think he threw for much more than 100 yards,
90.
but he made the big plays that he needed. He's got some competitiveness in him too. He did enough to win. He made the big plays. Their defense is their strength. Notre Dame, You know, it's an impressive team. I'm on that bandwagon too this week. I think they're going to win big as well, more than 6 points. They're only favored by 1.5. But I'm on Notre Dame there too. I will say, yeah, I was pretty impressed by the Penn State tight end.
He's a dog.
He
Number
won
44?
the Mackey Award this year. Oh yeah, he's a player. He's not like Gronk from an athletic standpoint, but he's a player. I mean, he'll have a good NFL career. He moves pretty well, but I mean, it's kind of cool to get exposure to some of these people and just see them on the big stage and how they respond. He's a ball player.
Yeah, he is a stud. And their defense is tough.
Yeah.
You know, the Penn State defense is pretty tough. But no, it'll be tough. That's gonna be a great matchup. I felt like Georgia that was a flat game though. Not to go back and talk too much about the Georgia Notre Dame game, but they looked flat. It was a weird deal for Georgia.
Yeah.
Not their normal quarterback. It lost
Right,
a little
right.
mojo with that. The other guy, he's solid. Don't get me wrong, but when you go from Carson back to the second string, there's going to be a fall off. And like I said, their rhythm just didn't look the same.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I talked about too. Well, who do you got then, Notre Dame or Boise?
Boise.
Sorry, Notre Dame or Penn State? Jesus.
Notre Dame, love them.
You do.
Love them.
And it's only 1.5 right now, Notre Dame. So so we have to go up to a place that allows us to gamble in Wisconsin, which is called Turtle Lake Casino, right? And so we got to do our bets, and that's going to roll us into our next segment. So I do have one ticket that I get to collect on, and that would be the Ohio State win that we called. So I'm going to throw that on a game. You think you're going to go to the Notre Dame? I should throw that on that, Parrot?
Let her ride, baby.
All right, let's go.
I'd even do a 2-team parlay.
Okay.
Notre Dame and Ohio State, 2-team parlay. Pay you 12 to 5 or 13 to 5, whatever it is up there.
All right.
That'd be a nice little $100 pays 220, 230. Take it and run.
All right,
Penn
let's
State
go.
here.
All right, let's go.
You know I'm taking Penn
I know
State.
you-
I'm not taking Notre Dame. But Moose, who do you think?
What
Who
do you
got
think,
here?
Moosey? We got Moosey back here. Come on.
Oh, I'm just sitting back here running this. Let's go. Well, it's going to be Ohio State. Something's going on there. They're playing really well.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think Scribb was right after that Michigan game. He figured something out. And as much as Scribb hates Notre Dame, man, do they just look like they're flying around right now. They're fun to watch. And what's coach? Is it Freeman?
Freeman.
Good guy. I think he's a great coach. I think he's got those guys just tuned up, ready to rock and roll.
He's
No,
really
he's a
good.
nice guy. Nice guy.
Nice guys usually finish last is a problem. We'll see how it goes.
All
All
right.
right.
Penn State.
Let's talk about my other bets that I did. So I've won a couple, lost a couple. Parrot, I got a man. I rolled the money on your boys
Oh,
on Minnesota.
Hold on. You bet with your brain, not your heart.
Yep,
That's
I
what
did.
you tell me.
And-
You bet with your brain. You would have been betting on the Vikings, you idiot.
Well, and I deserve every bit of this.
Yeah, you do.
I was a Purple fan that night. I sat down. Brinkman was sitting next to me, and I had and I was surrounded by some Viking fans. I'm like, all right, here we go. Like, I am a fan. Let's go. Let's see. Let's let this thing roll. And I was like, holy moly! Like,
have you
what
ever
is
seen
going-
that much futility in the red zone? I mean, they got the 5-yard line. It was as if they hit a wall, and
Buddy,
they just
do you
totally
feel-
changed everything. It was awful.
Do you feel like Dan Campbell rubbed off on Kevin? Like, he was like, well, I know this guy is going to go for it, so I got to go for it. I don't understand. Like, you're on the road, and you understand. Like, this is what I thought. I thought that Darnold was a little bit, which you can, he's a little bit fired up, right? I mean, this is for everything. This is for the marbles. This guy's never been in, like, a meaningful game in his life like this one.
Same
So
with
it's
the
like-
Vikings.
So it's like,
Yep.
settle them down, right? Like, just take your 3 points and say, hey,
Yeah.
Sam comes off. Hey, great drive. Let's stall a little bit. No problem. We're going to get back out there. But instead, it's like you throw them to the wolves a bit, and all of a sudden, and then you're on the road, and they don't get that 4th down conversion, and it rocks even louder in there, and all of a sudden, even more doubts in his head. And that's normally I am a KOC fan. I think he's an amazing coach. Is why people in the NFL right now want to trade for him, right?
Rumors.
The rumors are there. I think he's a great coach, but I think right then, looking back, he's like, yeah, I messed up. What do you think, Parrot? I mean, being the avid, lifelong, diehard fan that you are, what were your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, on the big stage, you could say yes. There were some opportunities that Darnold could have thrown the ball quickly to another receiver that he didn't even throw to him in the red zone. So a little bit of it's on Darnold, but at the same time, there you got to get your points. I mean, it could have been 4 field goals, getting 12 points, but instead, he passed and didn't convert on fourth down. So I'll throw some stuff at KOC, but once again, what were the play calls? I mean, Aaron Jones has been a huge addition to the Vikings, and they didn't even consider giving it to him in the red zone. I don't know if his knee was bothering him or if he was bruised up, but if they hit that 5 yard line, and it was like they hit a wall, and it was just they
Yeah.
couldn't get
And Akers is
beyond.
a damn good back too. I mean, you looked at the Packers game; he ran that swing pass for a touchdown, which was a huge. I mean, that was a huge touchdown in that Packer Viking game. And you're right, Garrett. It's almost like they abandoned the running backs whatsoever within the 5 yard line. And sometimes you just got to take your hat off to certain people. How about the guy that was covering JJ? This guy was he pumping gas or serving coffee or whatever the hell he was doing like 3 weeks ago? But he's out there. Man, he shut it down.
I love the fact that he played JJ in high school in Louisiana, and JJ went to LSU, and this kid went to Louisiana Tech. They played each other in college, and this guy's just kind of grinded away. Got picked up free agency this past year by Detroit, stepped up, and I mean, JJ had some catches, but he had a great game. This kid from this Amick from Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, it was unbelievable to watch him do that. So obviously you watch these games a lot closer. The one thing that disappointed me when the Packers played the Vikings is that obviously Jair is Jair, right? Like I don't know, it is what it is. But when Jair presses him, JJ, he shuts him down. Like that's the one thing I said. Like if the Packers play the Vikings and Jair is healthy, I'll take the Packers. But if he doesn't play, then I'm not, right? And that's what I said because Jair presses JJ and he shuts him down. And this guy pressed JJ. He shut him down. So is that just just a coincidence that I've watched those two games that closely, or do you watch that all the time? Is I guess my question.
Well, there's some merit to it. I mean, he shut him down. My question would be, where was Addison? If they're shutting down JJ, other people should be open more, whether it be Addison or Hawkinson or whoever. They got to pick it up. So, that's the whole part of a team game, a team passing game. You double somebody or you have somebody that's not open, somebody else better be open. Find the ball, get it to them. And they didn't do it. And, the big picture, though, the big game is going to be in 2 weeks in Detroit or in 3 weeks in Detroit. If the Vikings can somehow get out of Los Angeles this week, if they even play the game in Los Angeles. I heard earlier today they might move it to Phoenix.
Because of the fires?
Phoenix or Vegas is what the rumor
Oh,
is.
I never even thought of it. I didn't even hear anything until when you just said it. I did hear some stuff about the fires, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just nuts. You wish the best for those people out there, and whatever they do at the NFL game, they do it. Hopefully the Vikings can pull it off, and if they go to Detroit, well, that's the game that matters.
Oh, yeah, right. There's no doubt about
But
it.
they won't go to Detroit. It'd be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they would. Yeah.
They would be if all the favorites are expected teams win.
Yeah.
They would go to Detroit in the second round.
Come
Who
on.
knows?
All right,
The Pack are gonna win.
Hey,
so
let's look at this NFL playoff right here, brought to you by Lindus. So we're on the NFC. Let's just talk about a pair upper left. Let's just go with it. All right, Minnesota, LA. What would the Vikings have to do to win this game?
Just play a good game offensively and defensively. Have some red zone touchdowns. Stafford's going to get some scores. I mean, he's tough. Puka Nacua is basically a linebacker playing wide receiver. He's tough, but Vikings should be able to pull this one off.
I think so too. I don't know what those odds. I could look at them right now.
Vikings -1.
I'm going the Rams.
Wow, Vikings -1. That's it, huh?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Hey, do I double up that I could lose twice in the Viking? What do you suggest, Barrett?
Listen, be careful with the Vikings.
Hey, I got to share a story because I think listeners would find this comical. So we're up at Turtle Lake, and I'm trying to make these bets. And I wanted to make the bet on the Vikings beating the Lions, but I also wanted to bet on the Vikings to win the NFC because at the time, after the Packers, I'm like, these guys are rolling. Everything's going. So it wasn't working. The machine wasn't working. And this guy goes like, hey, he's like, what are you trying? What bet are you trying to place? And I said, well, I want the Vikings to beat the Lions, and I want to put Vikings to win the NFC. And I think I had a Packer jacket on. And he's like,
No. He had a Viking jacket on, the camo one.
he did.
No, he had a Minnesota Wild jacket on, but he was a Viking.
Anyways,
fan.
he goes, I have been a lifelong Viking fan. do not make those bets. He
It's
did.
only gonna hurt
And I'm
more.
like, hey, he's like, trust me, this is what's going to happen. The Vikings are going to lose to the Lions, and they're going to go on the road to whoever the hell they got to go on the road to, and they're going to lose that too. I'm like, holy moly, buddy. Like, this is terrible.
The funny thing is, if you remember this, I told the guy, I'm like, and he's even a Packer
I go,
fan.
I'm a
and the
Packer
guy
fan.
Goes, he's an idiot then.
I go, I try to bet with my brain and not my heart. And he goes, wait, your brain ain't working right now. That's what he told me. I'm like, come on, man.
Smart man.
tell you that all
Smart
the
man.
time.
Yeah. Oh, all right. So, all right, but we're still picking. Hey, they're up right now. I'm looking at the spread at the moment. Like you said, 1.5. Vikings on the road. That might be tough.
Give me Queens.
Yeah, it could be a good bet.
Rams.
How about Washington,
Rams.
Tampa? Right now, we're looking at that game. It's Commanders or Bucks are favored by 3. What do you think, Garrett?
You know, I've been a Baker Mayfield fan for a long time. He came out to our casino out in Deadwood here a couple years ago. He and his wife. His wife made a very large deposit. Thank you very much. And she was a trip. But been a fan of Baker. I hope he pulls it off just because I like the guy.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So you got Baker. I got Baker. I tell you what, though, the Commanders, regardless how this game goes, man, they got a dog in
Daniels.
In Daniels.
Yeah, I
there
might
ain't
take
no
the-
doubt.
I
Like
might
he
take the
is
underdog
a
there.
stud. He's a stud. All right. Then we're going to move the chair here. We got Green Bay, Philly.
I'm just letting you talk this one.
Hey,
I already know
is
where
everybody-
you're
is
going.
Favored
everybody
by
healthy?
4.5. Philly's favored by 4.5. What do you think, Perry?
Is everybody healthy for Packers? I mean, is quarterback healthy?
I think so.
he's
I
fine.
haven't heard anything.
Yeah,
I will be rooting for the Packers because I'd like
me
to
too.
see them after several years ago when the Vikings played in the NFC Championship game with Case Keenum and they just got throttled by the Eagles. The Vikings fans that went out there, I knew people that were out there, and it was you go to Lambeau as a visitor, you're treated with respect. They want the Packers to win, but they're kind to the visitors.
Yeah.
Philly is not that way. I will never root for
Assholes.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So
It's
give me
going
the
to be
Packers.
what I'm going to say here is I would like, I'm going to bet with my heart in my brain, take the Pack.
That a boy.
I think if the Pack play like they can, they have a chance. But I can't guarantee it. I think that's the biggest thing there. It's going to be a tough game. They got to play good. They got to play good.
When you ask if the Packers are healthy, I guess another huge question is Hurts going to play? I don't know. I know this week up to this point, I only watch stuff usually in the gym in the mornings, but so up to this point, he hadn't even practiced yet. So I don't know if he's so that's a big deal, right? You've got Kenny Pickett playing if Hurts doesn't. So that's a big deal. That's
but
a
I think
huge
Hurts
deal.
is playing what I'd heard, I believe.
Okay. I think
He's still listed as questionable, which surprises me. I would have thought he would have at least been probable by now, but he's still questionable on the
Sunday,
injury.
though. Remember, they do play Sunday, so.
Yeah.
But we'll see. All right, going up on the other
AFC, man. Let's go with the
Chiefs,
AFC.
Houston. What do you got?
Sorry,
Chargers,
Chargers,
Oh,
Houston.
geez.
Here we go.
Well, on that one, give me the Chargers. Harbaugh's Harbaugh. His team will be ready to play.
Yeah, and I don't. Both of those teams are kind of wishy. So let's move on to some more the better ones.
All right, what do you got for Pittsburgh and Baltimore? I like Baltimore. Not even close.
I got Baltimore.
You got to step out of the way.
Russell's not in Madison anymore.
Here we go. All right, then we've got Denver, Buffalo.
I think that's a no-brainer, guys.
Yeah.
Buffalo is just a stud, with Allen and the way
Well-
they're playing. I love Bo Nix. I think what he's done this year is awesome.
Yeah, he's going to be
but-
a dog. There ain't no doubt about it.
But I got Allen. He's playing at a high level.
Well, the number there, if you're betting the spread, it's Buffalo -9. I probably would take Denver on that one, just 9 points. That's a big number, and but I think Buffalo's going to win that one.
Yeah. Awesome. Well,
All right.
we're running out of time.
Yeah, that's another edition of the Parents Picked, brought to you by Lindus Construction here in the Lindus studio. All right, Parrot, we're going to come back next week. We'll see where we're at, but we did get, a little admission there by Gibby and by me, so we're stepping up. We'll see how it happens here, but I'm going to say go Penn State, go Ohio State.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Thanks, Parrot. Appreciate
Another
you,
week
my
of
man.
playoffs.
Here we go.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Yeah.